The Arewa Youth Assembly has clashed with the coalition of Northern Youth Organization over the call made to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sack Engineer Farouk Ahmed, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. Following the report of the importation of toxic fuel into the country, the coalition of Northern Youth Organization had called for immediate sack of the NMDPRA boss. In a statement that was signed by its national president, claimed that substandard petroleum products are being imported from Russia via Malta, blended and shipped to Nigeria, violating the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) and putting the health of Nigerians at risk. They called for immediate investigation by the authorities, threatening to occupy filling stations across the country. However, the Arewa Youth Assembly wants President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reject the call for the removal of the NMDPRA boss. Call for the removal of the NMDPRA boss. So I'd like to know what you think about that.
No, well, if he has, if a responsibility was given to him and, certain things happen, I'm sure you understand that there are meant to be consequences. Not until we do the right thing, until we do what is necessary, Nigeria will continue to be a dumping ground for all manner of, toxic items and, substandard products. I mean, this is just petrol. There are other things that come into this country that is not, suitable for human consumption. And unfortunately, those who are responsible for that, they do it with impunity. I told you in the build-up to the discussion that we have very weak institutions. We have people who consider themselves stronger than the system. There was a time in this country where they brought a very dangerous petrol into this country that was knocking people's engine. In fact, people refer to it as bullfire petrol. And as we speak, I'm not sure anybody was punished for that. So if this, gentleman, if his people are saying that you cannot sack him, perhaps because he's one of their own, and they know that the system will operate, you can easily circumvent the system. Otherwise, you don't need somebody to come and even inform anybody to come and answer for, for something that falls within, your responsibility. So, by and large, we want the things to be done properly. That is why we have been calling for the refineries to be fixed. If we have our refineries working, even if it's just one, or maybe Dangote refinery, added to it, we'll not be having this discussion.
But before then now, this has happened. Do you think that the NMDPRA boss should actually be removed?
He should, if his office, if that product pass through his office, if he's the one that is meant to be responsible for that, why are we having this discussion? By now, he should have been answering questions from the appropriate quarters.
All right,
it's not for us to come and contemplate or not.
You're a Nigerian. What do you think?
Well, what I see in all this is people whipping tribal sentiments when it comes to persons in authority that have refused to do their job. You whip tribal sentiments just to protect one of your own, forgetting that he is filling in the tax that is actually given to him, which is to actually ensure that Nigerians get petroleum product of the highest standard. See, with all these things, I talked about the refinery in Malta. Thank God it's repeated itself here again. You bring in all manner of things that you call PMS into the country. I bought fuel a few days ago, and I was just wondering, is it that my car is suddenly consuming more than it should consume, or what is the problem? Then somebody told me, don't buy from that filling station again, it's because they're selling bad fuel.
Wow.
I was like, wow, it's all right. So you see, if you are in position and you fail to do the needful, this is your job, for Christ's sake. You are there to ensure that Nigerians get value for their money. And a bad fuel is brought into the country. These are fuels that the moment they land, they are supposed to undergo some basic laboratory tests to ensure that, one, they are okay, that they are of the required standard. We have a standard organization of Nigeria in this country that is not doing anything.
Not functioning.
No, there's all these things were supposed to be.
In case of them not doing anything or not doing enough.
When you say not doing enough is if you rate them from a scale of 1 to 10 and they are doing, say, 5.5 or 6, and you expect them to hit that 8 benchmark, it's okay, they are not doing enough. But when these people are way below the average belt, they are doing nothing. So the word enough does not come in there. They are basically doing nothing. Organizations like the National Orientation Agency, it's not an organization of this in Nigeria. Even the consumer protection agencies in Nigeria, these are agencies that are supposed to be up and doing to ensure that the rights of the common man is protected. But these people are not, they are not living up to their tasks. So sincerely speaking, while I think that if he has done something wrong, the appropriate organizations, agencies should actually look into these matters, investigate it, and if he's culpable, ensure that the law takes its full course.
Right.
That's just it. Else, I don't support this tribal sentiments that they're actually weeping because it's one of their own and that he should be kept in office, even though Nigerians are dying. Well, of course, I wouldn't blame them. If someone from the south has said Nigerians can die, the president needs to leave. So they are all.
Did anybody say Nigerians can die? Nobody said Nigerians can die. Chief Lucky Man.
Look, for Christ's sake, we all were here when the Senate president said the president cannot die for us. He said,
but he did not say that Nigerians should die.
What does he imply? What was he implying?
Nigerians just have a way
implying?
You're being a typical Nigerian.
I mean, sorry, as they used to say, wait, I can't the wine us.
Okay.
Coming from the chief himself, you have brought out another aspect of it right now. But this is not the first time we're having a case of bad fuel being imported in Nigeria. Mufasa made reference to that particular case we had. I don't think Nigerians will ever forget that year when adulterated fuel, like it was called then, was imported into Nigeria. And then it looked like investigations were being carried out, but then we tried to find out more that happened, and then we realized that we were not told anymore of any other thing that went on. So Nigerians saw it as being swept into the carpet. I remember then we had a lot of Nigerians in court trying to sue, because that was like almost like the only thing that could be done. People's engines were knocked and all of that. And now this has happened again. Do you think it's because of the way the previous one was handled, and that's why we're having more cases like this?
Annie, you just said something. A lot of Nigerians were in court and they were trying to sue, isn't it? Did you also follow up those cases and ask what was the outcome of those cases?
That's the thing. That's when I said that, it's more or less like a secret society, where a lot of things that you are meant to know is deliberately and intentionally keeping away from you. Otherwise, when something like that happened in Senate climes, I think by now heads would have been rolling. A lot of people would have been cooling their feet in prison. But the moment these things happen regularly and nothing is done about it, becomes a norm. I said initially that when abomination stays too long in a society, it becomes a norm, it becomes a way of life. People just feel they can do anything with impunity. So you don't expect anything to happen to this gentleman, because already some persons have already come out to say that, no, when I know it is natural that when people get consequences for bad behavior, it will curtail that bad behavior to the barest minimum. But what we see in Nigeria is we encourage it the more. These people are celebrated, they are giving more titles, they are giving more responsibility.
You just call those people now and say, yes, you are my people.
Yeah, yes, now, I'm sure these people
come. And there'll be a function where they will even give him an award for this and that. And
if Lucky Man, you're prophesying now.
No, I'm telling you what is going to
into the future.
Just go. Just wait and see.
But then, with most of the things happening in Nigeria, a lot of Nigerian youths are not comfortable with it, they're not okay with it. And that's why a lot of Nigerian youths have been leaving the shores of the country on educational basis and all of other reasons or means.